So we did Habitica, which is an application that basically gamificates your life. And well, Habitica aims to provide a product to a big range of users who want to improve their scheduling or find a way of organizing their tasks. Basically, the main objective would be to gamificate life. Uh, this objective is the reason, the whole point of the product. And well, we can see that to be free or open source was another big objective because aiming to helping people being free is quite mandatory. A smartphone app is also another objective that we saw because we, Habitica can give daily feedback and approach a lot of more users with that. And also by the fact that most people check their phone constantly. Also, the RPG appeal that brings this nostalgia effect and to have a healthy community and remuneration would be more secondary objectives.
So when it comes to the user research, um, the user personas we created or we thought that would use Habitica are cases like, for example, the Gerardo. We're talking about a man of middle age who belongs to the working class, so works basically 8 hours per day. Uh, he has not a lot of time, and the time he has, he spends it procrastinating, and he wants to use Habitica to organize him and to do new things. Also, we have cases like Christian, who is currently studying in college and has a lot of other tasks, which are per curricular tasks, and he has a lot of work. So with Habitica, he wants to transform all that tasks to lightweight routine, which will give him feedback and gratification. And for the last, we have cases like Paul, who's still in high school. Cases like him, guys like him spend all his time playing video games, and all they want is to either work after they finish high school or continue his studies, even though he doesn't know. But he wants to use Habitica to organize his homework. So talking about the game elements, the components are Habitica transforms like the tasks and to-dos from the real life into an RPG game, more or less. So we have all the components that we can find in an RPG game. So basically, we have avatars, we have badges, we have special items. We can collect items. There are different achievements. We can make gifts to other users. There's also unlockables, forums, chats, currencies. Basically, the way they interact, the mechanics. So the user can manage his resources and using gems and gold to buy new items and unlock new quests, complete challenges. Basically, the main challenge of the app is to complete all the tasks you have proposed to yourself. And actually, you can also create complete challenges that other people create and join them. You can compare yourself with other users, comparing your level or your build, your character. You can also cooperate with other users by starting quests and defeating special enemies in order to get special rewards. You can customize your character. You can change his appearance and also the items you have on him. There are a lot of things you can collect, from pets, mounts, items, the badges. Uh, the user can get rewarded a lot of times by completing his tasks, and which his tasks, habits, and to dos, by which will give him golden experience. Quests will give him golden experience as special items too. Uh, Users can make transactions. There's a special coin in the app, which are the gems, which can be used to again buy items, unlock new quests, etc. He can fight bosses with when in the quest, for example, and yeah, basically the major win is when the user completes all his tasks and his to-dos. The dynamics it creates is that by customizing and personalizing your avatar, you create an identity. Also, the whole point of Habitica is increasing the productivity of the user and progression through leveling up, and also when since users can show off their avatars, their badges, their level, all their pets, their builds, it also creates an status. And since there are a lot of ways to interact with other people, like forums, chats, and taverns, you can create groups. Also, you can also relate with a lot of people.
Okay. Following next, I will be talking about the player's journey and screen workflow. So we did two screen workflows, one for the screens with screenshots and all that, and then an analysis of what each one of them is and where they direct and the different options. We noticed that Habitica works as kind of a hub, where you have a main page which is the one with the tasks that the player spends the most time on, and depending on if he wants to do extra activities, he goes to other pages like the market or the shop or the guilds tab. But most of the time, the player spends looking at the task tab, where he completes his tasks, get the rewards, and then deviates to other screens. When and where he deviates to when he wants to do something changes depending on the stage of the player journey. On the first stage, the discovery, which basically involves finding the app, the only thing that we incorporated as part of it mainly was to just get in and try to log in into the app and kind of see how the interface is like and what you are getting into. But as soon as you gain that interest and start the tutorial, you go into the next stage, which is the onboarding. And the onboarding, you start a very small tutorial that you're giving some default tasks by Habitica, which you can complete, and they give you some starter items like a sword, a shield, and some basic stuff so you can start to involve yourself in the equipment system, in the market system, buying stuff, doing tasks, getting XP. They introduce you to the entire system of doing tasks and getting rewards. Then the player by himself starts getting into it and goes into scaffolding. Scaffolding is when he starts assigning tasks himself. If he gets very invested, he can join a public guild and form part of a bigger community. And then also make microtransactions, which gives gems that he can spend in different upgrades. On the end game, where the player has truly mastered Habitica and is very familiar with it, he can go to the next stage and get into challenges, or create his own guild, or buy really rare and strange items such as the seasonal shop and the time travelers one. So Habitica has different pages and different components of the app which satisfy the need for every stage of the player's journey, from the very start, which is very simple and gives you basic tasks to accomplish, to the end game where there's challenges to overcome.
Okay, so next I'll be talking about the six D's justification. So for the first one, the defining business objectives, we already talked about that. So the ones in green are the more important. The yellow ones are the more secondary, and the red ones are like not the main, or not the principal, of course. And well, delineating the target behavior, we encourage. Well, we saw that Habitica wants to encourage players to log in daily, for example, because by completing tasks daily, players will get rewarded with currency, which will allow them to level up. This would lead to unlocking greater challenges and boss battles with friends, and acquisition of better avatar customizables. Uh, and well, all of these can be quantified with the KPI or key performance indicators inside their applications. Next slide. Describing the players, we set this demographic, which can a player can be a male or a female, of course. The age groups we thought between 18 and 40 years old, and the main trait would be obviously procrastination. Also, we used Bartel model, and we related it to the actions that Habitica enables to the players. So, for example, it has a lot of achiever and socializers actions like winning, showing off, sharing, greeting, liking, helping other players. And then for the explorers and killers, there's less actions, but that doesn't mean that one player that has this type wouldn't use Habitica. For the activity loops, Habitica's main loops are the tasks and the habits that the user puts themselves into. And for example, the user wants to, the motivation would be to earn the coins and experience, and then it has to complete its tasks in the real life. And well, the apps will reward him with these gold coins and experience points. Another example would be, for example, to defeat the quest final boss, and well, the user will have to complete against its tasks with maybe a group or not, and the user will damage the boss with the completion of these tasks, and also will be rewarded with gold coins and experience. About the fun, we use the four types of fun from Lazaro, and social fun would be the main focus, and because well, you can comment and compare and help others in this app. Easy fun and experimental fun would be as well, just looking at your avatar, or experimenting with the app. In the hard fun, well, the only hard fun you could have would be challenging yourself in your life. By deploying then the appropriate tools in order to complete the main goals of the app, it is important to combine all these previous components or things that I talked about. And in this case, for the gamification of life, it is accomplished by transforming the tasks or habits and to-dos of the user into missions that will reward the player with coins and experiences, and then will upgrade its avatar. Having a healthy community is done by having a tavern, the ability to create parties, and allowing users to communicate with each other and interact. And with the remuneration, for example, there's the gems, which is this special currency that you can buy, and there's also a subscription which can give you monthly rewards and quite exclusive.
Basically, on what the strengths basically is that we're a small team, and we have all the resources available to do the project. So we are easy to manage. We have the resources, and we can do a project which is non-profit. So the scope is not too big. We don't need to make a lot of money. We just need to maintain it. On the weak side, we are not a lot of people, which means that if any one of us fails to do his part or has any kind of problem because it's a voluntary side project, it means that the project can fail or go down. Because it's a voluntary side project, we don't have a lot of funding currently. We can depend on donations and micropayments later on, but on the first stages, we will have to maintain it on our own. So basically, we're starting up, we are few people, and we now have funding. On opportunities, we have the user contribution because it's an open source program. We have the fact that the video game culture has risen a lot in the last years, so this makes this app, which is a task app, appealing for people that is into video games. Uh, we have the fact that currently there's a lot of people which is busy and has a lot of stuff to do. So having an app which helps to manage time is kind of popular, to have spots for your hobbies or to have time to do different things instead of being so busy with work, strengths, and different tasks. And we have also the opportunity to build a community around the app using our guild system. The threats is that because it's open source, we could have copycats, which means that other people could use our code and our work to try to build the same market as us. The fact that we are starting out as a mobile app means that we're competing against a massive market. We have a lack of momentum because it's our first project and it's the first time we're doing something. We're not an established company. We're a small team, which means that if something fails, if something were to happen that is not that is unpredicted, things could go very very wrong. We don't have a backup plan or a pillow to stand on, and that will be everything for the SWOT.